Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in to Living Our Dreams, previously known as Arizona Dreams.
And if you don't know what's going on with the name change, you really need to catch up. So watch the last two videos.
We're moving, we're leaving Arizona, and we're heading to the Midwest. So we just wanted to let you know how we're doing and how our plan is coming together and all that good stuff.
Next weekend is our last weekend here. Yep. I cannot believe it.
Last weekend as residents of Arizona. We've got the moving truck scheduled, and they'll drop it off, like she said. Next weekend is our last weekend, so that Monday we get the truck, and hopefully on Wednesday they'll be taking that away. I'm
ready to go. I'm kind of just over it now. The house is in disarray. We got boxes all over the place. It just hasn't felt the same since we started packing right before we put the house up for sale.
Yeah, I don't think it ever does, though.
Yeah, it doesn't. And my youngest son and I would always come home from, whether it be from just walking his brother to school or from a long trip, and we would always say to each other, "Home sweet home." And we don't even say that to each other anymore, so it just doesn't really feel like home anymore. So we're going to be traveling into Memorial Day weekend, which is also probably not the best time to be traveling.
Yeah, prices tend to go up. Hopefully we won't catch a ton of the traffic, because hopefully people will be heading away and will be coming in. So let's circle back to why are we towing the vehicle and not just driving both vehicles and divvying up the kids. How do you feel about driving in, let's say, I-10 going into Phoenix? How do you like that?
I don't like driving here at all on the freeway.
What about like through the neighborhood?
Oh yeah, I can do that. Okay. Just don't put me on the freeway.
So back and forth to do a grocery get is fine.
Yeah.
Or maybe a local restaurant, but once you start having to hit the interstates or the freeways.
I'm a white knuckle driver. It's not fun. Driver.
So would you say that same would hold through to, say, Kansas City, St. Louis?
It might be a little bit worse when I get to unfamiliar territory.
Okay.
It might get a little worse. And if it's during rush hour, it might be a disaster.
Oh, okay. So what I'm hinting at here is what happened the first time we left Arizona to go to Michigan. And
why we're wasting $1,000 to ship a car that I should be driving.
So the original goal was to get going by 1, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Well, we didn't get the truck loaded and get the vehicle that we were towing, because we had 2 vehicles, but I towed one behind the U-Haul. I don't think we got out till like 5:30 or 6.
No,
right?
Yeah, it was during the evening rush hour.
And our intention was to get to at least Albuquerque, New Mexico. That didn't happen. We got to about Payson. It got dark. She doesn't have the best vision.
You know what? I'm gonna cut you off right there, because I knew he was gonna do this. It was dark. And it was winding roads, and on Payson. But I was quiet as a mouse. I did not, because we had walkie-talkies. I didn't ping you one time on that walkie-talkie. You know what happened? I hear, "Hey, how you doing?" I could be better. I can't see, but it's all right.
What was going on?
You know what? It's dark. You think we should like find a hotel around Payson and stop? Now, when you said that, I was like, "Oh yeah, let's do that." But you were the one who wanted to stop. Yes, you were driving that big truck, and you couldn't see either.
I fully initiated.
Stop putting that on me.
It's not about seeing. I fully initiated the hotel, but there were some. I just know my wife. Wherever we've been, she never liked to drive at night. I knew that, and in combination with the fact that I was towing a vehicle behind a U-Haul truck, a 28-foot U-Haul truck that I wasn't fully familiar with. It just didn't make a whole lot of sense to go winding through not only the mountains, but once you get through Payson and Strawberry in that area, it becomes desolate. There's nothing until you get up to about Gallup, really. You pass through some minor cities, but nothing big. So it's pitch black. There's wildlife, and it just didn't make sense. So we decided to stay in Payson. Well, the only hotel we could find was, I think, I'm going to say Night's Inn, but don't hold me to that.
Whatever it was a dump.
It was terrible.
It was a dump.
It was a roach motel. How about that?
Yeah. Nobody slept that night.
Yeah, it was terrible sleep. We got up. We got on the road, and we were doing fine through, I think, pretty much the rest of Arizona. We were okay. But then my youngest started his fun. Now, mind you, I'm driving the truck by myself because I can't have any of the children in the passenger seat because they're all too young to be in the passenger seat. So she's got a carload, and I've got myself with a walkie-talkie. And all of a sudden I get this, oh my God, it's disgusting. Oh, it smells. Oh my God, he puked. He puked. Oh, what are we going to do, Brian? What are we going to do? So I reel back and I say, you know, do I need to stop? What's going on?
And I was, at that point, I was like, what do you think? Of course we need to stop. It's all over his clothes. It's all over the floor. He was still in diapers.
The amount of bodily fluid and things that came out of this kid was obscene.
Yeah, so we ended up, I don't know where we pulled over. It's a mystery and a blur to me at this point. So I had to, you know, clean him up, clean the car seat, change his clothes.
Yep.
And, you know, his sister's freaking out because he almost got it on her. It's just, you know, and I'm already stressed out from driving on the freeway. So this is just not a good start to the drive.
Right.
So I don't know why I was bitter at him, because I was just like, you don't understand.
I took the brunt of that.
Because he was like not showing a whole lot of empathy at that point, and I wanted him to show more empathy at my woes. So we get back in the car. And I'm like, it was a fairly calm stretch of land. I'm like, you know what?
Yeah, we should be fine.
So
yeah.
I think I might be able to do this. Mom, he's doing it again. I turn around and he's puking again. And I'm just like, at that point, I think I was near tears. If I didn't cry.
You were.
I think I was near tears. So I got on the walkie-talkie again. I told him, we got to stop again. What is wrong with, what is happening to him? We didn't know that he had this kind of issue.
Car sickness, yeah.
And I'm just I feel stressed because I'm like, I only have so many changes of clothes.
And we had no way to clean them.
Yeah, we had wipes, but they were getting low, and I'm just like, okay, I don't know if he's just got something, he ate something or what, but I can't do this. And I was just thinking, you know what? Can we just leave the cars here and get like an Uber to an airport and just drive home? That's how I really was thinking, like, should I just approach him with
I think
this?
at one point you asked me, would it be okay if you guys flew the rest of the way and I arranged to get the car later?
At that point, it was ruined because even though it wasn't the bad part of the highway, I was just waiting for the next, you know, scream.
So that was technically the first full day of travel.
And he did this multiple times. It was probably every few hours.
Oh God, yeah. I got to the point where I was this close to turning off the walkie-talkie because I was just like, I don't know what I can do, because at some point along the way, it wasn't so much volume. He just kept getting sick.
And so I was angry at him. I was frustrated with my experience. I was like, it's not fair that I got all the kids with me, and you know, it was a bad day.
Let's clear something up. I did offer to let her drive the truck.
I
knew full well she wouldn't.
Yeah.
But she says I wasn't feeling empathetic, and I'm like, I don't know what else I can do but take you out of the situation, and I'll come back there and deal with the situation.
You know what made it worse and more irritating? He was trying to join in my pain by telling me how his butt hurt and how uncomfortable the truck was.
The truck sucked.
I was like, I don't give a freaking flying leap how uncomfortable the truck is.
The truck sucked.
Right now. So we ended up...
She had mental anguish and I had physical anguish.
Yeah, and I didn't care. I was like, don't tell me about it. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it.
We made it to the hotel.
Yeah.
We didn't really sleep all that well. We tried to clean the clothes. We soaked them in the sink.
Well, we ended up the next day. Before we left, we stopped and got more clothes.
Yes,
and
that's right.
New wipes and a towel and all the things. These things to put over the seat.
To prep for the vomit fest that was going to ensue.
Yeah.
Day 2 was a little bit better.
Yeah.
And we made it to Kansas City.
And that was probably the starting the final crack.
Yeah,
of
I
my
was gonna say that was when
state.
when I think my wife snapped.
It was so stressful.
I think I heard the brake
Kansas City was wild to me. Again, I'm a skittish driver on a good day.
We hit it at about, I don't know, like 3:30. So it wasn't quite full rush hour, but it was getting there. And I was doing my best to stay in the second lane from the right so that if anybody was merging, I didn't have to move the vehicle over. And if people wanted to pass, they could pass. And this way, she could just basically not even pay attention to her GPS and just follow me. And that worked. It got us through, but man, was she stressed out.
Yeah, like it was just like zoom, zoom, with so much action. And at that point, you were starting to do a little. You were comfortable with the truck now.
Yes.
And you were starting to do like getting in different lanes.
I was trying to avoid traffic and stuff.
Yeah, so I'm trying to keep up with you because we realized at this point that our GPSs weren't exactly synced, and that sometimes that he would get different directions than I would. So he said, "Don't worry about your GPS, just follow me."
Yes.
Well, he's doing all this weaving and swerving into traffic.
As much weaving as you can with a 28 foot.
Yeah, but he was doing really well. He was doing well. He was passing cars.
50-foot car behind it.
I'm on unfamiliar territory. Yes. It's a mess, and I was just kind of getting annoyed at that point. And I just remember thinking that third morning I got up, I was just
so we stopped just outside of St. Louis, right? Mm-hmm. And
I had a good drink that evening.
Oh yeah. We went out to eat, and she proceeded to have a good stiff drink for her. I said, okay, well, you realize that tomorrow we're going to have to go through St. Louis. I'm going to take the outside business loop. It's going to add a little time to our trip, but at least that should calm down the traffic a little bit. And surprisingly, St. Louis was not all that bad. Now, mind you, we hit it at about 9:30, so traffic had died down. It was still a weekday. I think it was a Friday, actually. And everything was good. And I talked to her, and she's like, okay, yeah, I'm good. We're good. And the youngest hadn't thrown up.
Yeah, he had calmed down.
It was like everything had aligned. And I'm thinking, okay, we're home free now. We crossed the river. We were into Illinois. And this is just cakewalk now. There's nothing left. It's Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, Michigan, Indianapolis. The woes of Indianapolis for this lovely woman, I think, will haunt her to her grave.
He's right. I'm still not over it.
We hit Indianapolis right about rush hour on a Friday, so it's probably 3:30, but it's Friday, and I think it was a long weekend too. So everybody and their brother was on the road, and I'm used to driving through Indianapolis, so I figured, screw, I'm going straight through. I'm not messing around with any of these, side loops or anything. I'm cutting across, and we're going to head on up through Fort Wayne and call it a day, right? Well, as she said, the GPSs did not match, and I did not realize how badly they did not match. And so I'm staying in my lane pretty solid now, because I know that there's a lot of changes to get to the route to get up to Fort Wayne, and I get over to get into the route to Fort Wayne, and she's calling me, but she's breaking up. That was the other thing we ran into. Anybody that says that your two-way can go a couple mile range doesn't account for line of sight and interference. They were breaking up, so we were having a hard time communicating. So she's calling me. I'm trying to answer the phone while I'm driving this truck. And long and the short of it is, I went one way, she went the other. When she passed me, all of a sudden the radios came clean, and I was like, okay, are you good? Are you behind me? And she's like, I don't know, I don't see you. And I could hear the panic in her voice. And I'm like, okay, get off the highway. Just get off the highway. So she does, and to this day, I still have no idea where she was, other than she was in the hood.
When I got off, and at that point, I had a full blown panic attack.
Oh yeah,
I had a full blown.
You can hear the tears. You can hear the angst in your voice.
Had that before, like that, and I said, I don't know where you are, and I don't want to just get back on the freeway, and you're God knows where. Yeah. And he's like, well, where are you? Give me the cross streets.
Give me the
so
streets.
I gave you the cross streets, and you still were like, I couldn't find them. Where you are, and I'm like, it does not look good. I don't like where I am.
So I pulled off the highway,
yeah.
and I'm punching these things into the GPS that she's giving me, and I'm like, I'm not getting squat.
I'm frustrated with you. You're frustrated with me, and you're like, I don't know where to find you. And you said, just get back on the freeway and just let it take you home.
Yeah.
And I said, Brian, I ain't getting back on that freeway.
I believe the direct quote was, just go. I'll figure it out.
Yeah, I was mad.
Was like, the statement, and I'm sitting on a side street, just sitting there trying to figure out where the heck she is. So at that point, that's when I hear the growl, and
yeah, I was done with him.
She'd switched from the cry and
the
panic to, I'm done with this. And I kid you not, she turns off her phone and she turns off the radio.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay.
Because I didn't, in my state of panic, anger, distress, I didn't want to say anything that I would want to take back. You wouldn't leave me alone, and you kept trying to help me, and I said, I am not reachable at this point.
Yeah, the wall was up, clearly. So long and the short of it is, I got back on the highway, and I made it home in a couple hours. And I drive, and I meet my mother. And I pull in, and she says, well, where's Venus and the children? And I said, oh, they'll be on their way.
Yeah, so I decided I was not taking any more highways home.
So she puts the no highways
I put no highways on the GPS, because I was like, forget it. I don't care if it takes me all night. I'm not getting on another highway. I'm in the hood of Indianapolis.
With
and
three children.
Yeah, I'm thinking...
In a Dodge Journey.
Yeah, what in God's name have I done? And I'm looking around, I'm like, I think I might get carjacked before this is over with. And I'm just like, just the range of emotions in me. And then I'm just driving, and I'm just like, please, God, just let me get through. Let me get through Indianapolis.
You got through Indianapolis.
I got through it, and then I get on this long stretch of like country road, and I kid you not, it was like a light every 5 minutes. It was all red lights. And I'm just like looking at the clock. The kids are like, when are we gonna get there? And I'm like, I don't know.
At this point, it's like 6:30. It's getting dusk.
Yeah, and I'm starting to think, you know what? You don't like driving at night. You better get your butt home.
She cleared Indianapolis. It's not that far from Indianapolis to Fort Wayne, and then Fort Wayne into where we were stopping is maybe another hour and a half. She is outside of Fort Wayne at this point. She doesn't know this.
Yeah, I don't know where I am.
But she's outside of Fort Wayne.
I know where I was.
And now you've decided to take off the restriction, correct?
Yeah, I said I'm gonna do it. I'm getting back on the freeway. It can't be worse than Indianapolis was.
It's not.
And I finally get back on the freeway. I am nervous. I'm just like, we can do this. The kids have finally fallen asleep.
Mm-hmm.
And I finally started coasting. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna barely make it home before dark, but we're gonna get there before dark.
And it was around this time of year too, wasn't it?
Yeah.
In the meantime, I'm with my mother, and hours have passed.
We were well past dinner. At some point, I turned my phone back on because I was ready to talk.
I think when you came into Ohio.
Yeah. I'm like, what's going on? He said, oh, I've been here for like 2 hours. I'm just waiting for you. So I could feel the annoyance. I just was annoyed this whole trip. And I feel bad because he got the brunt of it. And I was just like, oh, so you've just been chilling for like 2 hours while your poor wife is out here struggling.
That's the first time she's ever said he took the brunt of it.
I admit that now.
Now?
Yeah.
Several years later.
I was just like, oh, must be nice.
Yes, that's exactly.
I have a car full of children, and
you get to enjoy the ride, cruising in your truck.
You're relaxing now, safe and sound. But I didn't go there. I was just. Well, I went there here, but
and it was very visible, even though there was no verbal.
Yeah, and he's like, well, "Where are you?" And I said, "Oh, I'm in Ohio. I'll be there soon." What was supposed to be the shortest day of the trip turned into what, 13, 14 hours for me.
Yeah, it was, Like I said, to to give you guys some ideas, you can get from where we were staying in Ohio to Indianapolis in under 3 hours, no problem. No problem. That's probably long. It took her probably close to double that.
Yeah, it was doubled. But eventually we got there, and I said to him, I said, I don't care what we do, why we're doing it, I will never drive cross country again. I will never do this again. So when it came time for this move, and he starts looking at me and he's like, you know, we got 2 cars. And I said, yeah. So remember what I said, that I was never driving cross country again? And this is before we settled on like truly officially moving. I said, I think I would rather stay here forever than take that trip back home.
Oh, yeah.
If I have to drive home, I'm not moving. And he's like, well, that's money we could be saving. And I said, okay, I'll think about this for a couple of days. I will give it some serious thought. And all I could think about was the panic attacks and just the misery of that trip. And I said, I can't do it. You know, I cannot do it.
I should have known better the first round, because when you, me, and the daughter took our first road trip together, actually, and the first boy, when we took our first road trip together to Florida.
I did drive some of that trip.
You did. Do you remember what happened just into the mountains of Georgia?
He told me it was night.
It was, it was dusk when
it
we
was
started.
dusk. We have the most fun at dusk and nighttime. And he said, you know, I'm tired.
Exhausted.
I need to sleep. Can you take over? And I said, okay, I could do this. And so I'm driving, and it's a new car. It's a different car, because the other car, the lights came on automatically.
Yes.
So I'm driving through the mountains on this highway.
Yeah, I-75.
And it suddenly got pitch black. Like pitch black. Now he's sleeping, and I'm thinking, I can't see. I can't even see the stripes on the road. What is going on? There was like not a lot of traffic at that point, so I didn't have any car lights to follow. And I just started to panic.
The alignment, it was a brand new vehicle to us. It was a used vehicle. The alignment was off, so I didn't really notice it. So I have a little more upper body strength, so for me it wasn't bothering me. But she was complaining that she could feel the
wheel, so I'm gripping the wheel because the thing is like shaking.
White knuckling this thing even prior to this.
Yeah, so it was a rough drive already.
And I am awoken not to taps. I'm awoken to my wife leaning in like this, bug-eyed. I can't do this. I can't do this. I can't do this. And I'm like I said, I was kind of half in, half out. I know I never sleep well in the car, anyways. And I lift my head up to look to see what's going on, and I'm like, the car comes zoom. There's a flash of light. I can see the lines, and then they're gone. And so I look over, and I'm like, turn your headlights on.
Yeah, I felt, and then when I realized that I had to manually turn them on, it was like, oh, I could see.
So,
I could see. I felt so stupid. Like
now you understand
I have
the woes that my wife has with driving on. You put her on a neighborhood street at night, she's fine.
Yeah, anywhere else,
but
I'm good. I'm
she
really
gets
not that
this
bad of a
mentality that it's a set of angst.
Yeah.
And if this had been any other time or any other type of street, right, not a busy highway, I-75 is a major highway, she'd have been fine. And even with the fact that she didn't have her headlights on, she would have had it together enough to know that my headlights are on. Yeah,
I just get stressed, and I don't have the common sense I normally would have.
There's that angst there that just scrambles your brain.
Yeah, it really does.
That should have been my first note, that I really needed to be far more cautious in my driving when we went the first trip back. So now we can fast forward. Now you have all the back, and that's why we're towing the other Jeep, because quite frankly, I don't think either one of us want to deal with her having to drive.
So here we are.
So here we are.
What do you always say?
What
You're
do I
getting too
say?
old for this.
Riggs, Murtaugh. That's Lethal Weapon for you guys that have no clue what I'm talking about. But we're optimistic about this drive. We've got it all mapped out. Like I said, we got our hotels. We're
good. We're ready to go.
ready to go. One more weekend.
Yeah, and then we leave the middle of the following week.
Yep.
So we wanted to check in, keep you guys updated. We know we've kind of been MIA a lot the past year, so we're trying to do better. Well, you know, when we really move, we're gonna have, you know, I'm sure an absence of videos, but we'll try to get one more video out. But I don't know. Every week it's like are we doing a video, or do we feel like it or not? So we're just flying by the seat of our pants right now. And we changed the channel name because I just wanted to get it over with. Let's just bite the bullet. I've already moved on in my head, so we're
living our dreams.
We're living our dreams. I did, you know, wear my Arizona shirt today.
Yeah, I'm wearing my Arizona shirt today.
Yeah.
All right, guys, that's I think a wrap for today. We appreciate you. Let us know what you guys want to see, and otherwise, thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't. Take care.